its advantages, and one of the advantages that I discussed was that it takes into consideration the risk. So many of you have explained what risk was all about, but still we were not in a position to conclude as to how the risk coverage or risk as an advantage is related to payback period method. I'll explain to you now because most of you were not able to relate it. See, the risk arises because of uncertainty. See, if you deposit money in a bank assures you 10% return, there is no risk. But if there is no assurance and you are told it may not, so it is a situation of risk. So risk is arising because of uncertainty, number one. Number two, higher or longer is the period of uncertainty, higher should be the risk. If somebody says is a risk of 1 year only, it is one category of risk. If somebody says the risk may be there for coming 10 years, then naturally the value or volume of risk or the intensity of risk will naturally increase. So higher is the time frame, or longer or larger is the time frame, higher would be the quantum of risk. Therefore, if we take a decision on the basis of payback period, our decision making is the time period. Earlier you recover, better it is. So if you are recovering your money in a shorter period, so you are guarding yourself against the risk which may take place in coming several years. Although risk may happen, or risk may be there in that year also, in that time period also. But again, as I said before, lesser is the time period in which the risk is likely to be there, better would be for the company. That is why we say that payback period method incorporates risk into account. It covers a company against likely risk of a longer period of time. That is why it is said that one of the merits of this period is that it takes into consideration the risk. It gives adequate coverage, adequate mention of the risk. If this aspect is clear, I'll move on. If you have any question, please ask. Should I proceed? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So I had explained to you the meaning of payback period, how is this calculated, then next, how do we take a decision, next, where its drawbacks, and then its merit. So with respect to one project method, one appraisal method, we have concluded our discussion. On the same parameters, we will look into the second method, third method, fourth method, and so on and so forth. Now we move on to the second method. This merit and demerits I have already discussed with you. What you are expected to do, that from the sources of your choice, find out which method of project appraisal is or are widely used in the business world. So what I mentioned here, merits I have already explained, demerits I have already explained. Not only explained, but I have also, okay, somebody is saying that somebody is trying to log in. Let me check. See when somebody, okay. I think now those people have been admitted. Okay, do you see the slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me just check with these people who were trying to enter. Now the what you will do now, I was here. I have not only explained, but I have also illustrated. You should be clear of the difference between explanation and illustration. When I say illustration, I mean with the help of some data. So whenever even in the examinations also you are asked to illustrate a concept, so you are expected to assume some data of your choice if not given, and then work out the solution and explain. Other people are still saying that they are not able to join. I don't know, there is no pending request here. Just 1 second. All right. Uh, when we say illustration, we always mean supported with data. So this is what I have done in this slide. This slide that you see with X, Y, and Z project. So this is an example of illustration. Whatever I am speaking, explaining to you, it is explanation. So what you are expected to do, I'll post it in the classroom, and that from sources of your choice, find out which method of project appraisal or appraisals are widely used. Although it suffers from, this method suffers from several limitations, but still it is used in practice. Once you scan the data, scan the information, you will be able to find out. Next, we go to the second method, known as, it is wrongly written here, RR method. It is AR, average rate of return method. In this slide, it was wrongly written. What is correct name? Average rate of return method, or ARR. I'll explain to you its meaning, its way it is calculated, and then no pending. Way it is calculated, and then its merits and demerits, etc. I'll explain it. Now the meaning of, you see, the is drawn from the word average itself. Average return. Average return means all the returns that you have received in over a life of project and divided by the life of the project. Suppose the project is of 10 years, so whatever you receive over a period of 10 years, if you divide it by 10, it becomes average. Just simple average that you calculate in various mathematical or statistical approaches. So average return that has been mentioned on your slide also means sum of the return, a total of the returns that received over a period of time divided by time period, that is life of the project. Is life is 5 years, then whatever is sum of inflows over a period of 5 years, if you divide it by 5, you get average return. Now calculate percentage of average return with respect to investment. Now you will have two figures. Initially you will have several figures, one outflow, the other several inflows. What you will do with inflows? Calculate the average of inflows. Once you have calculated the average of inflows, you are left with the two figures, one outflow, the other average inflow. Just take a percentage of these two figures. The answer will be your ARR, average rate of return. For example, if the annual returns from a project are 1,50,000, 2 lakh, 250, 150, 250, in 5 years, average would be 2 lakh. You add all these figures which are appearing on your screen, divided by 5, your answer should be 2 lakh. If the investment is 6 lakh or outflow is 6 lakh, so naturally percentage of 2 with respect to 6 will be 33.33%. So it's fairly simple. Any question on calculation part which are evident, which you can see on this slide?
No, sir.
You simply add 150 plus 200 plus 250 plus 150 plus 200, whatever is appearing on your screen. So it becomes your average rate of return. What is the average rate of return in the current example? 33.33%. In some books, you will find average rate of return is not calculated like this. They take average of outflow also. The authors take the average of outflow also. That means No one is spending. Okay. So you may take average of outflow, but popular method is, or most of the people do not take average, just take average of inflows only. So in this way, it can be calculated. Now, what remains? We have calculated. We have understood meaning. We have also seen the calculation. Now we go to the rule. How do you decide? Decision. How do you decide which project should be accepted and which project should not be accepted? Or which one should be given as rank 1, which one should be given as rank 2. If it is to be done, then naturally you have to calculate ARR, average rate of return, of all the projects in hand which you are analyzing, and the one which gives you more average return should be given rank 1, followed by lesser one, and so on and so forth. So decision making criteria is simple. The project which results in the highest ARR is preferred over one which has lower ARR. Like in payback period, the one which gives you lesser payback, you went for that one, you selected that one. Here, the project which gives you more ARR will be preferred. That is the acceptance or rejection criteria. Next, we have what are its advantages and disadvantages. So what advantages do you think should be there in this method? Yes, come on.
It is simple.
It is simple, okay. Then
takes into consideration all the years.
Takes into consideration all the inflows. Good. Then another advantage. Now, before you give me another advantage, something that you have already studied, tell me one limitation of payback period. One limitation of payback period. See, you yourself pointed out yesterday that it does not take total inflows into consideration. This method takes, isn't it? The payback period does not consider the inflows which arise after the payback period. It takes to most of the limitations of payback period, not all, most of the limitations of payback period have been taken care of here. So number one, it takes all inflows into consideration. It takes inflows which are available even after the life of project compared to payback period. Okay. Let me make one aspect clear here itself, that yesterday also and today also you are saying it is easy to calculate, it is simple. Theoretically, or for the sake of discussion, you may say it is easy to calculate. Fine, accept it. It will be mentioned in the books also, it is easy to calculate. Now, in the era in which you are living, the word easy and difficult should be taken out of your dictionary. In your first semester, each one of you must have studied, must have spent adequate time on spreadsheet modeling. How many classes of spreadsheet modeling have you attended on an average? How many classes were conducted? Can you recall? Okay, you cannot recall. At least you recall the syllabus that was covered. So one of the components could have been using Microsoft Excel in financial decision making. I was referring to any method being easy or difficult. If you visit Microsoft Excel, look for financial functions. Within financial functions, you look for project appraisal methods. Look for the method that we have studied so far or we shall study in future. It is a matter of few seconds only. All that you need to do is to type the formula, or not even type the formula. Excel automatically types the formula the moment you specify the method that you wish to use. You need to specify the range. That is, these are our inflows, these are our outflows. System will calculate payback period within seconds. not seconds, rather fraction of a second. System will calculate ARR, system will calculate everything that we shall study in near future. So there is nothing called difficult or easy. Some of you might be thinking, when it is so easy to calculate it from the system, then why are we spending time on this? I can explain, but do you have any explanation? I told you, I'll repeat what I have said. If you enter the data in MS Excel and specify the range, system will automatically calculate whatever we have done so far. System will find out ARR, system can find out PBB, system can find out NPV, everything system can find out within a second. Then why are we spending our time on this? Is it a waste of time or it is necessary?
So we are not bothered about the calculation, rather the results of the
Okay.
calculation.
Okay, but at the same time, what you have said is partially true. You should also be bothered about the inflows, about the calculations. The reason being is that it is the yearly inflows over a period of time that gives you understanding of time value of money. You need to see at times, even without calculating, without this thing, people can make out that this one will be true, this one will be okay, this one will not be okay. If you remember, one sentence I used to say in accounting, that figures speak. Accounting data, the balance sheet, profit and loss account, everything that is available there in printed form, it talks to us. It communicates us, provided we know the language that it is speaking. It is silent. It is not speaking in the strict sense of speaking, like both of us are speaking. I am speaking, you are answering. No, not in that sense. Just looking at the figures, it conveys us something that we can interpret. Same is true with the financial data available in various time period. It will convey you if you understand, if you know which language are they speaking. That is why it is necessary to have an idea about that. System will ensure that the calculations are correct. Your time will be saved. The time you are taking in calculating payback, maybe in the subsequent methods, time taking will be more. The books will say these are difficult. We are happy whatever is written in the books, we don't challenge that, but at the same time at the same time difficult and simple are the words of past. As on date, it's very easy to calculate. What's the end? I'll explain to you how to calculate, or even you can do it on your own if you have done Microsoft Excel advanced classes, or even if elementary classes you have done, you can be in a position to do it yourself if you have elementary knowledge of how Excel functions. Okay, so now this was about the easy and difficult. Let me explain to you. Its merit you have already explained and correctly you have explained. Now demerits. It ignores time value of money. Now I have written here illustration. This much will not be enough if the question carries more marks. For 1 or 2 marks, this is enough to say that it ignores time value of money. But if the question carries 4 marks, then you have to show the data and then illustrate your answer. It suffers from all those many more limitations with which the concept of average suffers. With which the concept of average. You must have studied the concept of average somewhere, I don't remember, maybe in your 8th standard or 10th standards statistics part. The word average, the mathematical concept of average suffers from so many limitations. So whatever are those limitations, this method also suffers from those limitations, because our basis of discussion, our basis of decision is average. Can you recall 1 or 2 limitations of average? Can you recall 1 or 2 limitations of average?
There can be huge difference between 2 years, but due to average, the value becomes same.
Okay. Tell me an illustration, tell me an example which makes understanding clear. You or anybody can tell me the example. One of our teachers He used to give an example. If somebody keeps his head in a refrigerator and legs on a heater, heads in refrigerator and legs on a heater, on an average he will be comfortable. So this is the limitation of average. Coming to realities of life, suppose a teacher's performance is gauged on the basis of marks obtained by his students. And suppose he has got 3 students in the class. One has obtained 80, other two have obtained 20 each. Sorry, 10 each. So total marks are 100. Average is 33. If average is taken as 33, students whom he taught should score on an average 33%, then the teacher's performance will be taken as correct, as acceptable, because average is 33. While out of 3, 67% of his students have failed miserably. Similarly, there can be several, there's a long list that you think over it and record it. These are the limitations, and those limitations should be related to the project, related to average rate of return method. Assume some data. See, I have been telling you to, once again I'll tell you, for me it is a matter of few minutes, not 1 or 2 minutes. I'll tell you, this is the case, this becomes the average with the data, and here is the limitation. But the more you think and you come up with an answer, the learning will be better. In case all of you fail, in case all of you are just not able to think, let me know. I'll either do it in the classroom or will post it in the group or classroom, wherever, so that each one of you know. But at least try in the context of average rate of return method. If these are the limitations, if this is the data, it conveys this, and in reality the decision will be too much incorrect. It is totally incorrect, wrong decision if it is based on average rate of return method and the data is like this. So this is how its merits and demerits can be explained. If this part is clear, I'll move on to the next one. Anything you wish to know up till now? Okay, before I proceed, go to the chat box. Go to chat box. Look at what I am writing. Just observe what I am writing and answer that. In case you have posted the assignment in the Google Classroom, you write why, nothing else. Nothing, sir, I have done this, I was ill and she was ill and we went to see a movie, nothing like that. Just write why in case you have posted, and in case you have not posted, write N. Start now. Some people are taking long even to type N and Y. All right, good. Just finish it off. Don't take more. All you need to do, write N or Y. It's a very, very good situation, extremely good situation. Out of 69 of you present, assuming that everyone has written, or I could see only 3N. That is 66 of you have submitted, only 3 could not submit. Those 3 should submit now. System will only show that submitted late, but do it. If you are unable to do, I am always available. I have answered to several questions people asked me in the individual number. They have not posted in the group. Individually number, on my individual number, they sought clarification. Several of you have sought, and I have, as far as possible, I remember, I have answered to all of you. So better to seek a clarification than submit, or submit on your own. It's good. It's very, very good progress. Now we go back to the presentation I was making, and the merits and demerits are over. If you have no questions, I'll take on to the next slide. Should I move on to the next slide, slide number 18?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Still, if you have any doubt about any question, anything, kindly ask me. Okay. See, when each class I ask you, seek clarification, ask me, I repeatedly ask you, you post me in the, this private number or group or wherever you wish to, and still you don't come up with the solution, then it's not nice. Now, third method, it belongs to second category, that is discounting cash flow methods. So I'll explain to you what these methods are. There are three methods which I had explained to you, just meaning of them: NPV method, IRR method, and this profitability index method. Of those three methods, I'll discuss the first method here now, NPV method, net present value method. Just like that, as we have done with other, I'll explain to you its meaning, I'll explain to you its calculation, I'll also explain to you decision making basis. Let me write here, decision decision making, and then its merits and demerits. These five aspects will be explained just like we have explained those five aspects with respect to previous two methods. Now, in order to explain to you net present value method, the concept of present value should be known, which you already know. In the first, unit, enough time would have been spent on the concept of present value. So if the meaning of present value are clear, I'll straight away explain to you the calculations part. If you wish to know anything more other than what Khalid Saab has discussed, I am available to answer your queries. If the calculation is clear, you have no clarification to sort, I'll explain to you the calculation part. Yes, any question on the aspect of present value?
Please explain it once.
No, I'll see, is a concept that requires longer time to explain. See, it would have been explained by Khalid Sahab. If you wish to know anything more beyond that, I'll clarify it to you. Or within that, whatever Khalid Sahab has taught, has discussed with you, if there is any aspect which is not clear, see, otherwise it will be a repetition. Why should, your time should be wasted on revision or repetition? See, the concept of present value, has he explained to you? Definitely he has explained to you the concept of present value. What is the concept of present value? Can any one of you explain? Is something that you have studied hardly 10 days ago. You should not maintain a silence here. What is the concept of present value?
Sir, it's help us in calculation of present value of future income.
Okay, any other explanation? See, you have learned a concept. Let me ask straight away a question. What is the rationale of that concept? Where will you apply it and why should you apply it? See, what is the concept, where it is applied and why should it be applied? What is the rationale? See, when you learn something, definitely it has an application, without which why should you spend your time and waste? Let me ask, you all should be thoroughly clear about the concept of compound interest. Is there anyone who has still not understood the concept of compound interest? Each one of you is clear about compound interest or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
your
sir.
silence I'll take as positive. Yes, everyone has understood the concept of compound interest. The concept is that every year or every time frame of the, because interest could be compounded yearly, annually, that is quarterly, or half yearly, whichever are the understanding between the borrower and lender, the frequency of compounding is decided. Usually it is yearly, but nobody can stop two parties compounding it on daily basis, compounding it on half yearly basis, whatever is the compromise made or agreement made between two parties. Assuming it is compounded yearly, so principal and interest are added, and next year interest is charged on that sum. Same thing happens next to next year, and it continues till the life of agreement, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. So that is compounding interest. So present value concept is totally opposite to compounding interest. Do you have any idea about the history of compounding interest? In what way it was introduced, in what way the calculations were so serious? I mean, there's a long history of this one, and it's very interesting also. In this class of 60, 80 who are present now, I think 69, 70 of you are present. Maybe quite a few of you must have played chess also. Is there anyone in the entire class who has not played chess in his lifetime? Or some of you have done, some of you have played. Just one of you can identify he is a player of chess. Only one of you. Name
Yes,
him or
sir.
just tell him your name.
Nidal.
Nidal. Good. International or national?
No, sir. I have not played
Both.
at any competitive level, but I know how to
No,
play.
no, 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 no. I'm not sorry. Sorry, you have misunderstood. I'm not saying that you are world level champion or national level champion. There are two ways in which chess is played. There are a few
Yes,
rules.
sir. The Indian way or
Indian. Okay,
international
okay,
ways.
okay. How many squares are there in a chess?
64.
Very good. If you place one coin, just one smallest possible coin, one unit, one grain, one anything which is the smallest in square 1, double it in square 2, double it in square 3. That is, in square 1 you have placed 1, in square 2 you have placed 2, in square 3 you will place 4, then 8, then 16, then 32, then 64, then 128. Isn't it like this? If you go, by the
Yes,
time
sir.
you reach 64th square, what figure
Yes,
can
sir.
you envisage will be required to put there?
2 to the power 64.
I mean, mathematically you are right, 2 to the power 64. What will be the answer like? Some million, billion, trillion, gazillion?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When I said that history of compounding is very interesting, the person who invented this game, he presented to king. King was very fascinated with the game, and he told him, you tell me your wish, it will be granted. It used to be a system in those days. So the person told me, I won't want anything more, just give me 1 grain of wheat, one small गेहूं का दाना दे दीजिए, put it in one in first square. Each time you move on, double the previous square. So king told, no, no, don't ask me something more. You are asking something which is peanuts. I do not wish to reward it. I wish to reward it you abundantly. So he insisted, no, no, just provide me 1 grain in the first square, 2 grains in the second square, 4 grains in the third square, and fill up all 64 squares. When the calculations were made, it revealed that not only the wheat production of that state of the entire kingdom, not only that, all the known kingdoms of that time, the valued $1,100 meeting his demands.